Deep in the California desert lies a city grid larger than San Francisco. It has perfectly laid out streets, cul-de-sacs, and names like Aristotle Drive and Planet Lane. There's only one problem. There are no houses, no stores, no people. This was supposed to be a shimmering metropolis, home to 500,000. Instead, it's a ghost grid, an asphalt skeleton being swallowed by the sand. How did one of America's most ambitious city-building projects become its loneliest failure? The place is called California City. By land area, it's one of the largest cities in the state, geographically bigger than Boston, bigger than Miami, and more than 4 times the size of San Francisco. But today, well over 90% of it is just an empty mirage. It was meticulously designed with a grand central park, a sparkling artificial lake, and enough land for a bustling population. But that dream collapsed into a mess of lawsuits and broken promises. This is the story of ambition so immense it bordered on delusion. This is the story of why America built a city in the middle of nowhere, and then, for the most part, simply walked away. The year is 1958. America is booming. The post-war economy is roaring. The suburbs are exploding, and families are flocking to sunny California. It was an era defined by huge ideas and the belief that anything was possible. Into this world of limitless potential stepped a man named Nathan K. Mendelsohn. Mendelsohn wasn't a typical developer. He was a sharp, charismatic sociologist from Columbia University who studied how communities grow. But he was also part showman, a true visionary who saw a golden opportunity where others saw only a barren wasteland. Standing on a small rise he called Galileo Hill, Mendelsohn looked out over 82,000 acres of desert scrub and didn't see emptiness. He saw the future, a master-planned metropolis that would one day rival Los Angeles itself. His master plan was breathtaking. The blueprints detailed a bustling downtown, a massive airport, and at the very heart of it all, a lavish Central Park. Its crown jewel? A glittering 26-acre man-made lake for boating and fishing, surrounded by green lawns and golf courses, all to prove this wasn't just any patch of desert. The marketing campaign was brilliant and relentless. Full-page ads in the Los Angeles Times sold California City as the next great American boomtown. Mendelsohn even started a real estate school where the curriculum was simple. Learn how to sell lots in California City. For graduation, you had to buy a lot yourself and get friends and family to do the same. It was a self-perpetuating hype machine, and for a time, it actually worked. But the thousands of people buying in, convinced they were getting in on the ground floor, had no idea what Mendelsohn's grand vision was really built on. Mendelsohn's philosophy was, build it and they will come, but he took it a giant step further. He decided to lay out the skeleton of the entire city all at once. Instead of developing one neighborhood at a time, he sent fleets of bulldozers to carve the whole sprawling grid out of the desert. For months, the desert floor buzzed with activity. Hundreds of miles of roads were surveyed, graded, and named, with many being fully paved. The audacity is still stunning, building a street grid for a city of hundreds of thousands before the first 1,000 residents had even arrived. While the roads went in, so did the Central Park and its lake. Water was pumped to fill the basin, creating a startling splash of blue and green against the tan canvas of the Mojave. A Holiday Inn went up. A post office opened. By 1965, the city was officially incorporated, with a tiny population of 800 people, but nearly 6,000 landowners. People from across the country, tempted by ads promising to get them in on the ground floor, were buying plots of desert, sight unseen, for as little as $90 down. It seemed like Mendelsohn's gamble was paying off. He had built the mirage, and people were buying it. But just beneath the surface, the dream was built on a foundation of sand, both literally and figuratively, and the first cracks were already beginning to show. The first huge problem was geography. California City is remote, a long drive from the jobs and economic engine of Los Angeles. Cities don't just appear, they grow around an economic core. And California City had no industry. The only major employer was the nearby Edwards Air Force Base, which could never support the population bomb Mendelsohn had promised. Then, there was the environment itself. The Mojave is a place of extremes. All that construction had scraped away the desert's natural ground cover, leaving loose soil. When the powerful Santa Ana winds tore through, they kicked up massive, choking dust storms that would smother the town, shattering the fantasy of a desert paradise for any visitors. But an even bigger problem was hiding underground. Mendelsohn's beautiful Central Park, the symbolic heart of his city, had been built miles away from the area's main water aquifer. Getting water to the planned city center and all the eastern subdivisions would be incredibly expensive, a fact that wasn't exactly highlighted in the sales brochures. The small part of the city where people actually live today sits right on top of that accessible water. Most of the ghost grid does not. As the 1960s wore on and the city failed to boom, the strategy began to change. The focus shifted from building a community to selling land as a speculative investment. The pitch wasn't about moving to a new home, it was about buying an empty piece of desert that they promised would be worth a fortune someday. Ordinary Americans poured their life savings into these little rectangles of sand. But as the lots sat empty and the promise faded, the government was starting to pay very close attention. By the early 1970s, the complaints from angry buyers were getting loud. The situation caught the eye of consumer protection lawyers working with Ralph Nader, who came to be known as Nader's Raiders. In 1971, they published a blistering report that called the project a grand illusion and accused Mendelsohn of perfecting the art of turning desert dust into gold, but only for himself. That report lit the fuse. The Federal Trade Commission launched an investigation into the company, which Mendelsohn had sold and was now called Great Western Cities. The FTC alleged the company used deceptive advertising and high-pressure sales tactics to sell what was essentially worthless land. The legal battle dragged on for years, bleeding the company's reputation and its bank account. In 1977, the company settled. It was ordered to pay one of the largest consumer refunds in FTC history and invest in real infrastructure. It was a landmark case for consumer protection, but for California City, it was the death blow to the original dream. Nat Mendelsohn had seen the writing on the wall, selling his stake back in 1969. He passed away in 1984, leaving behind a legacy as vast and empty as the street grid he built. The company that inherited his project, Great Western Cities, declared bankruptcy. But in a bizarre echo of the past, one of the men from that company continued selling lots for decades until the state of California shut down his new operation in 2019, accusing it of being a massive investment fraud scheme. The grand illusion had shattered, but what's left behind is something even more surreal. To call California City a ghost town isn't quite right. The place has a split personality. If you visit today, you'll find a real, functioning town of about 15,000 people. This community is clustered on the far western edge. Here, you'll see schools, a supermarket, an 18-hole professional-grade golf course, and a correctional facility. You'll see families living their lives. For them, this isn't a failed city. It's the quiet desert town they call home. But this living, breathing town takes up only a tiny fraction of the city's enormous 203 square mile territory. The moment you drive east, you cross an invisible line into the city that wasn't. This is the Ghost Grid, the silent, sprawling testament to the original master plan. Driving these empty streets is one of the most surreal experiences in America. Your GPS knows the road you're on, but on either side, there is nothing but sand, brush, and the occasional faded for sale sign. The scale of the emptiness is staggering. It's a feeling of profound isolation, like you're standing in the ruins of a failed idea. the asphalt is crumbling, with weeds pushing up through the cracks. The desert is patiently reclaiming its territory. This vast, empty grid is a physical scar on the landscape, a haunting reminder of the massive gap between a bold vision and a sustainable reality. So, why did America build a city and then walk away? The failure of California City wasn't a single event. It was a slow-motion collapse born from a complete misunderstanding of what a city is. Nat Mendelsohn was a brilliant salesman. He truly believed that if you just built the blueprint, the roads, the lake, the promise, people would automatically show up to fill it in. But a city is more than a grid on a map. It's a living organism that needs an economic heart to pump life through its veins. It needs jobs. It needs a reason for people to put down roots that goes deeper than the hope that an empty lot will be worth more tomorrow. Mendelsohn built the skeleton for a metropolis of nearly 500,000 people, but provided the economic engine for only a few thousand. He put the cart miles ahead of the horse. Today, those paved roads to nowhere are a melancholy monument. They're a testament to the power of a dream, but also a stark warning about the dangers of pure hubris. California City wasn't built on solid ground. It was built on hype and that seductive, uniquely American belief that with enough salesmanship, you can conjure wealth out of thin air. The desert, in its patient, unforgiving way, proved that some dreams, no matter how grand, are destined to turn back to dust. Thanks so much for watching. The story of California City walks a fine line between visionary ambition and outright delusion. So we have to ask, do you think this was a brilliant dream that just fell short? Or was it a doomed plan from the very beginning? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. If you found this story compelling, be sure to give the video a like. And for more deep dives into forgotten American infrastructure, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss our next exploration.